رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Yasmin Isa, the founder of MBMuslima magazine and MBMuslimaTV, and I'm here today to welcome you to episode number 2 of MBMuslimaTV. Last time we were talking about some really exciting stuff. We were talking about identity, jihad, and being yourself. And it really went so well. So many of you watched it, so many of you shared it, and a lot of you commented, and I'm really grateful for that. Commenting and interacting is going to be so key, especially because I will be giving you stuff at the end of each of these episodes to interact with, such as last time it was a question. And it's so important for you to be right there on the sidelines interacting and being part of it, because you will feel connected and it will help me connect to you better and just keep the lines of communication so much more open. So I hope that today with this second episode, I hope that you're feeling refreshed, grateful, that you're in a good place mentally, physically, spiritually. But hey, I know that this is real life and that's not always the case. We go between highs and lows all the time, so if you're not feeling that great, I hope that after watching this you could feel a little bit better. And hey, if you're feeling really good right now, alhamdulillah, all praise is due to the creator of the heavens and the earth. If you are, I hope that after watching this you feel even greater after that. And of course we know that if that's the case, that all praise is due to him, and of course if it's not the case, it's still all due to him. So today we'll be talking about 3 more exciting topics. We'll be talking about 1, comparing ourselves to other people, huge topic in and of itself. 2, we'll be talking about shaitan, aka the devil. And 3, we'll be talking about gratitude. We'll be mixing up all these topics in such a unique way that I'm so excited about it, and I hope you are too. Inshallah, God willing, we'll get right into it. Okay, so let's begin with our very first topic, and that is the topic of comparing ourselves to other people. One of my favorite quotes comes from Theodore Roosevelt when he says that comparison is the thief of joy. And then he continues to say, but it doesn't have to be that way. So this is a really cool analogy, because basically what he's doing is he's taking, comparison, and he's likening comparison to a thief. A thief is someone who steals something from you, is someone who robs you. And in this case, it's the robbing of your own personal joy. Now let's look at it a little bit more. When we compare ourselves to other people, which by the way, is human nature. So I'm not going to be sitting here telling you that it's so easy not to compare yourselves to other people. It's actually really difficult not to compare yourself to other people, especially when we live in a day and age where there's Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest, and you could see everyone's life, which by the way, typically on those things you only see a portion, a part of someone's life. But nonetheless, we see all these things and we just know so much more about everyone's personal life than people did years and years and years ago. In order for people to know the kind of information that we could find at the click of a mouse, or, who really uses mouses anymore, but even I'm sorry, I know people still use mouses. I do too sometimes. But, or at the touch of our phone, or whatever the case may be, it's so fast to find out what someone you were best friends with 10 years ago is doing, or someone who you no longer talk to is doing, or someone who you've never even met, to know everything about their life because of the internet, right? I know there's many people who watch these videos or who read MBMuslima magazine, or who interact with me or do programs through Wellness with Yasmin in different countries that I've never even met. So obviously the internet allows for so many of these things, which have good features in them. Everything is just a tool. It could be used for good or bad. But the point I'm trying to get at is that it's even harder these days not to compare ourselves to other people, because we're constantly being fed everyone's life all the time. And usually the things people decide to share are the good things. So, we don't see the whole picture all the time. Although there's many cases where people do share, many things, but that's a different topic. Now, when we're exposed to all this information, it's very easy to get really caught up in just looking at what everyone is doing, or, thinking like, oh wow, this person has a house now, I'm still living with my parents, or this person got married, I have no idea where I'm going to find a spouse, or, this person has so much money, and I'm broke, or this person, looks so happy and I'm miserable. This person has a great job and has fame and, well, I don't. There's so many different levels, so many different degrees. The point is that it pulls us out of the now. That's one of the hugest things, I think, is that when we're stuck, and I'm not saying that we should not be interacting or not know about what's going on, but we have to look at it really, scientifically and figure out, how can we engage with others and stay up to date with what others are doing without falling into like these comparison traps, because they're really not healthy. So going back to what I was saying, it's so crucial to remember that, one, we are all human beings. That is so important. So we all have hardships and we all have joy in our life. Now, if you're going to, or if I'm going to, because we're all prone to this, if we're going to focus on the joy of someone else and we're not focusing on our joy, then that's going to create a problem. So if we have the comparison and we're looking at others and we don't have our own personal gratitude, some problems are going to arise, because you know how they say the grass is always greener on the other side? One of my other favorite quotes, and I don't even know who said this, I apologize, is that the grass is greener where you water it. So sometimes it looks like someone else has something better, but you have no idea what comes with that. With every good thing on this imperfect world, with every blessing, comes hard work, or comes some things that aren't so glamorous. So it's really important to remember, going back to our very first episode, is that you are unique. I am unique. It is a total waste of time to be so fixated on what other people do or have when nobody can be you. Nobody could be Yasmina Isa. Nobody could be my mother. Nobody. Nobody could be my mother-in-law. Nobody. She's so unique. No one could be my husband. He is his own person. No one could be my father, or my sister Sarah, or my sister Maryam, or, the people who watch this video. And I'm just naming, a couple people in my life, but no one could be anyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, the creator of the heavens and the universe, created each of us so unique. And it's such a waste of time to, want to be someone else or to want what someone else has. It's okay to admire someone or to be influenced or to say like, oh, hey, that's cool, I want that. But when it turns into comparison and you're not taking time every single day to appreciate what you have, or if I'm not doing that, then that is a huge problem. Huge. And we're going to get into the second part shortly, so please stick around. Okay, so on to the next part, where we'll be talking about the devil, Iblis specifically. We're going to talk about the story of Adam, our beloved prophet Adam, peace be upon him. And Adam is not something unique to the Muslim faith. He is revered, and this story is believed in multiple faiths. So, this should be something that you're familiar with. You don't need a lot of background information. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can simply read up on the topic, but it's pretty straightforward. When God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, created our beloved prophet Adam, alayhi salam, as the very, very first man to be created, and his wife shortly after him, Hawa or Eve, when Adam was created, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Iblis, the devil, to bow down to Adam, right? And he did not want to. He didn't want to because he said, why would I bow down to someone who is less than I am? He was comparing himself to Adam because Adam was a human being made from a special type of clay, and the devil was made from a special type of fire. Now, Iblis, the devil, because he believed he was made from something superior, he saw fire as being way more superior than clay, he was not having it, and he did not listen to the commandment of God. Now, what does this tell us? This shows us a different type of comparison. Previously, when I was first talking about comparison, I was talking about comparing ourselves to others with the regard of when other people have more than us and how that can make us feel bad about ourselves and how that creates us to not really be grateful. But comparison doesn't always happen just that one way I was talking about. It also happens sometimes when we compare ourselves to others and we position ourselves higher, either because we think we are better or we have more. And this is another type of comparison that we just do not need in our life. It is truly a comparison, a thief of joy, like Theodore Roosevelt said, because even when Iblis, the devil, says he is better, no one gets happiness out of those types of things. No one. It's just really something to feed a person's ego, or in this case, the devil's ego, and really it does not nourish us the way that we want to truly be nourished. So it's important to remember that comparison could happen in a couple different ways. Bottom line is that when you're comparing yourself to someone, or if I'm comparing myself to someone, whether we think we're above or under that person, either way, we are so fixated on comparison. We are not looking at the unique qualities of that individual and the unique qualities of ourselves. And it's a waste of time. One of the best things we could do is, one, we need to be immersed in gratitude. We have to understand that we have personally been blessed by God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No matter how much we have or how little we have, we've been blessed in our own personal life. And if we truly seek those wisdoms out, we will find out why we've been given certain things and why that is perfect for us as individuals. And the more grateful we are, the less room there is for comparison. Think of it as a bucket, right? The more gratitude you have, the less room you have for comparison or jealousy. Alternatively, the more comparison, jealousy, all of those negative feelings that you have, the less room you have for gratitude. So really, we should be focused on appreciating what we have, and that's so simple. What I'm going to ask you to do down below is to just write 3 things you're grateful for. Even just things that you don't think about every day, but you benefit from every day. And we forget sometimes because we are human beings, and it is in our nature to forget. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He calls us insan. He calls us the one, insan comes from the Arabic root word nisyan, which means to forget, and we're forgetful by nature, so we might make mistakes, and we might fall down, and we might creep into comparison, and that's okay because we're humans and we fall. But when we fall down, when we get back up, do we go up towards the way of God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or do we go towards the devil? So it's just, a couple of things I want you to think about and that I personally want to remind myself to think about. And really, our goal is to immerse ourselves in gratitude. And if you want, I will have information on the gratitude issue of MB Muslima. It's one of my favorite issues. I think I say that about all of them, but it really is one of my favorite issues for sure. And I really encourage us to be grateful for one thing mainly, and it's written about in my editor's letter, and it's the Quran. I remember several years ago, I wrote this back in 2012, and at the time of writing that, which is like 2 years ago, at the time, because it was September, so like 2 years and a month or 2 ago, and at the time of writing it, I shared something that I learned 3 years prior to that, so we're talking about 5 years ago. One of my favorite scholars, he said, the Quran is a piece of paradise in our hands. And it really is. if that's all you have, which I know you have a lot more than that in your life, but if that's all you have so much, and so do I. So with that being said, thank you so much again for tuning in with an episode of MBMuslimaTV. Don't forget to drink your water. I have to have some health tips in here to satisfy myself from the Wellness with Yasmin world. And literally drink water because it's very good for you, and our body is mostly compromised of water. Most of us do not get enough water. It's so important. You want to be drinking at least half your body weight in ounces, and ideally on an empty stomach. So I had to fit that in because I just did. And I hope that you will interact, you will comment, you will like, and you will share this video. And I am so excited to share it with you. Any good that came from this comes from the Almighty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and any bad is from myself. Please do forgive me. Feel free to share any thoughts or feedback you have so that this could be even better. Don't forget that there is only one you in this world, and the world really needs it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.